Okay, so hi everyone. Hello. I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. I hope you're all doing well. I am Celestine, of course. Welcome to Illustrator of Fantasies, making comics. I got some things to get through. I think I mentioned on Twitter maybe a couple days ago that some of my pages, when I did my first splashdown of my indigo, came out looking, they were a little faded. They were not as, deep on the color that I wanted them to be. Like, some had a little more of the pigment in them than others. And I want to fix that. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. So naturally, I would say, okay, well then, what I need to do is just obviously go back in here and deepen up some of these colors. And just like add that next layer anyway, just kind of do that. So I'm trying to think of a way to proceed. So give me a moment. Let me get my captions on. Okay, there we go. That's not what I want. Also missing my headphones. Hold on a minute. I was doing piano practice this morning, so I'm getting back into that. It's actually really fun. Super excited about that too, actually. I realized I actually did kind of have to start over with where I was because I hadn't kept up with it. I'm like, oh, I don't really know what I'm doing right now. This song that I had, these few songs that I had learned, I'm like, I don't even know how to play these anymore because I hadn't kept up with it. So trying to keep up with that. So that's usually my 6 a.m. That's why I get up very early. I get up pretty early to make sure that I can actually sit down and actually put some practice into that. I don't really have to be to work until 8, so I do have, if I get up that early, I give myself at least a couple of hours. So that first hour is just to sit down and, bang out my scales and warm-ups and actually devote some time to practicing the songs that I've decided to learn. Trying to pick up some other songs that I actually do want to learn as well, so that is actually going really well. It's just restarting it, so I'm not excited about having to restart, but I understand why I have to. So what I was saying is that I need to go over what I have down on these pages and say, it is very, very important to make sure that they are filled with as much pigment as possible. They're still curving up a little bit, but that's okay. They'll survive. I will survive too. So let me just kind of look over and just kind of consider what my plan is going to be. So this is what I'm working with. If I can, let me fix my camera here. Okay, so you can see all of that, including my keyboard. Let me bring this down just a little bit. Oh, that's not helping anybody. Okay. It's a little better. So, I think my hair may have gotten onto the camera again. There we go. That's nice and clean looking. Yes. Okay. So, yeah, you can see that it's not really as deep with my indigo wash as I wanted to be. So the idea was to have that indigo be the darkest, bluest part of the entire image, and while it was wet, it's kind of what was happening. Then it dried, and it's like, oh, that's barely anything on there. So we're going to do this again. And I actually don't have black ink over here that I don't actually need right now. So when I have like one really good set of headphones. Trying to load up my brush. So I want this indigo to be the purest color of the night sky, because I'm going to layer brown on top of it to help warm it up and to help deepen it a little bit, but like that really has to be like the darkest, like most purest color that's on here. Okay, found a little pocket of paint. So we're gonna try this again. There we go. See, this is what I want. It has to be at least that dark. Because that is our snow color under, you know, at night. Like I'm going for the whole mood of nighttime. So the colors have to be like this. If I'm going to get the look that I want for this book, these things are going to have to happen this way. Like I legit need this page to be like that. There's a chance that it may dry a little lighter. That's gonna happen, but as long as, you know, that value stays roughly in this neighborhood. It's looking washed out right now on the camera, then it's just because of so many lights that I have on. But right now, in my own eyes, what I'm seeing is a very nice dark color for just the entire scene, and then I can layer all my browns as needed, and that pretty much punches that up and really brings in the rest of the scene. So what I'm gonna do is just add a little bit more of my indigo in there, because I don't want this to be like completely lost. Like I need this to be dark. Don't worry, you'll still see the details and all that good stuff, but as I said, I'm going for a mood. Going for a very specific mood. Okay, so we have a milky consistency with my paint and water for this wash, so I'm pretty sure I need a different brush than this, because it's obviously going to leave like the splotches and the strokes, but and it doesn't really go on as smoothly as I'd like, but it is what it is for now. For now. Okay, so what's that doing with this? We are going to this is all laying flat. I need some kind of, can use that. I'm trying to figure out like a weight that I can use so that it can dry flat. So that's really what I need to have happen right now. But let's just keep on going then. So I hope everyone else is doing really well. Ooh, yes. That right there. This is exactly what I wanted. Like I said, this indigo is going to become that night sky. And I need that to be just pure. Just as pure dark indigo as possible. The great thing about using gouache is that I can add white to it and the white will actually be white, so if I need to change things up, I can do that. You know, this is perfect. Yeah, I definitely need a new brush. Let's get down here. Now, like I said, if this dries up a little lighter, it's not going to be the end of the world. But it won't be ideal. But I think by adding an extra layer of pigment onto pages, I'm actually doing myself a huge favor right now. Huge favors. Big favors. Hopefully the paper will cooperate and just lay flat. That's okay. So we're gonna make it lay flat in a minute. We are doing tonight 5 pages at a time. So tonight we're gonna get in this second wash of indigo onto the paper. And then we're gonna go in with our brown. So good. They're already as dark as I need them to be. So by just doing it a little bit at a time like this, I can actually get through a few pages a day. So if I'm getting all my base colors down, I'm in good shape. So the base colors include this indigo, the brown that's going to go on top of that. And then my yellows that will go on top of that, and any secondary level of indigos that'll be used as the shadows, and that'll be it. So, plan is, the plan is all base colors this week. Hi, Shelbinator46. Shelby. How you doing? Thank you for stopping in tonight. How are you tonight? That's looking pretty good. So, like I said, I do expect this to dry a little lighter, but I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a good one. That's usually what ends up happening with paint, is that it dries a little lighter than how you put it down. So, anyway, as I was saying, the plan is we're going to go through 5 pages a day. Doing well, how are you? I am pretty good. I'm pretty good. Actually, no, I'm feeling really good right now. It's been a decent day. Got up early this morning, sat at my piano, actually knocked out a couple of homework assignments and started working on another one. So today was my off day. I did not realize today was my off day until I gotten my pants on this morning to head out to work, and I'm like, wait a minute, something told me to check my schedule. Something doesn't seem right. So I texted my coworker, said, hey, can you check the schedule and make sure that I'm actually supposed to be there before I come in? He didn't have me listed on any schedule for today, so I'm like, oh, I guess I'm taking my pants back off. So I'm feeling very good. Just working on these pages. So, as I said, we're doing 5 pages a day. And we'll get the base color indigos down, my browns down, and then we'll pop in the yellows for the highlights, and we'll call that there. Because there's going to be a lot of detail work going on in this right now. So, I got all 5 pages. What I need to do is just get everything to be flat. That's the challenge. I have to go over everything with a second pass of my indigo because everything got lighter than I wanted it to be. Everything dried super light, so you know, all the pages looked like they were just kind of washed out and not really there, which we don't want. Put this back under here. Also, last time I struggled to get my game to work, and that was, I mean, it was a little humiliating, but I mean, like, what can you do, you know? We won't be doing that again. So I've got my 3 colors here, my indigo that I'm using for my background wash. What game? It was a Divinity Original Sin. Which is so funny because I hadn't played it. I'm like, hey, it'll be fun to just kind of play on stream right now while, you know, we're just kind of hanging out. Never played it before, so, you know, it'll be kind of cool to see how I take to it and fresh, blind playthrough. And, like, it was working. The game was working. Stream was working. What wasn't happening was on the screen was not coming up. My play screen was not coming up, so I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going on. It was locked on the opening screen for some reason. So, like I said, it was a little humiliating, but I mean, I couldn't fix it, so I ended up just, you know, calling it a night. So they didn't want to work together. They really didn't. So I was thinking I could try something again tonight. If I have a little bit of time, but I do fully expect to be painting most of the night. So if it does come to the point where, you know, I'm like, oh, well, let's just load up a game while I'm waiting for paint to dry, then, you know, I don't think I'll beat Divinity, but, you know, I've got a bunch of games. And, you know, it's so funny because I haven't actually played any games in a while, and I'm like, I've been so focused on the schoolwork and work, just like, and everything else going on, you know, trying to make this comic happen, trying to get back into my piano practice. I have that problem with books. Yeah, I mean, it's like there's so many other things that you really, really want to do that I especially really want to do, and then it's not that I don't have the time to do it, it's just with everything else going on, I don't feel as though I have the interest anymore. Like, I would load up a game and be like, I don't really want to play this. And so I don't. And I'm like, oh, but I want to do something. But I just don't know what I want to do. So it's been super challenging. I have like 4 books I've started reading and 12 on my nightstand currently to read, and then probably 20 more on my... Yeah, I've got the same issue. I've got a whole slew of graphic novels that I bought, maybe a couple of months ago. And I'm like, I will totally get through all these. I'm going to eat these right up. And I have gone through one. Whole of one. Maybe like 20 graphic novels. And I'm just like, no, not that many. But like, it's a lie. It's a lie. And I'm like, no, I just not feeling it. Just, I don't know. So trying to like split up my day into the right amount of time so I can give myself the time I need to get stuff done. My days off really truly belong to homework at this point. So, my day off is changing. Used to be Wednesdays. It's going to be Tuesdays now. And I'm like, just recently I made the decision that I really just need to get homework done on that day off and just, get through the week. That Monday through Friday span of time needs to just be devoted to homework so that I can enjoy my weekends more. And so I'm trying to get myself on that schedule while also incorporating, that's right, I want to wake up early enough so I can actually get to my piano and do piano practice. At least for an hour every morning before I head out to work. So at least I'm logging in some type of hours on that. And then with working on this comic and anything else I want to do, I have to manage myself a little better. Trying to. Totally thought I'd be so motivated with the pandemic since I'd be home more. You thought. No. No. I don't think that's really happening for a lot of us, actually. Hence my struggles right now. So yeah, that's me. I'm right there with you, though. I'm right there with you. It's like, man, I thought I'd be getting so much done. Nope. Ain't nothing getting done. The struggle is 100% real. It sure is. It sure is. And, it's just with election time and everything else happening right now, it's just, I think that level of added stress for a lot of us is just like, what really can we do? That feeling of that restlessness, and just not really having it together. Yeah, trash can fire. Yup, absolutely. So it's, there's a lot that's happening. So it's just, some of us deal with it better than others. I mean, I'll just put that out there. I wish I was one of those people. I think I'm handling it in my own way that I can, knowing that I still have to get up in the morning and go to work. That I still have, and I'm grateful and I'm lucky for that, but it's still tiring. It's still exhausting with everything else happening at the same time. Like, everything all at once. And it's like, I keep thinking to myself, was I really, is this really more stressful than what it was back then? And it is, in a way. I think with the political climate as well in the United States, it's especially more difficult right now to, feel like you can do anything. Simply because it's like you're if you're paying attention to the news, if you're following along with social media, if you're having any encounters with people, even just side conversations, the worry is this a person who, you're reading these stories, you're reading about these encounters, this dialogue that's happening that is just, completely, I don't even know the word that I want to use right now, but it's stressful watching people snip and bicker at each other, and these arguments about, this person's rights as opposed to this person's rights, and how that all, and you're watching all of that unfold, and you're like, how are you both so misinterpreting what each other is saying so hard right now? Like, I'm confused. No one's listening to each other, and that's why these things keep happening. That's why these things keep coming up, and that's why we're not getting anywhere, because no one's actually taking the time to listen to each other, or to have any type of actual conversation. And like there are, I'm gonna say also that there are people who are, you know, clear instigators. There are people who actually are tyrants right now, and there are people who are actual victims in these conversations. There are bullies and there are victims in these conversations, and it's like you get to that point where you just want one person, like you just want that person who is being the absolute bully to just stop and just listen to what the other person is saying, so that maybe they can stop doing what they're doing. But you know that's not going to work, and you don't really know what response you need to give in that situation. So we're all just like screaming at each other and flying off at the handle, and it's just like, we could be doing this so much better. Definitely weighing on me more with the rising COVID cases in my area, the political storm in my own work, homework, and kids' remote learning. So I try to be forgiving myself for my lack of motivation. Yell louder than that person. I mean, that's exactly what it is, you know. And you're right. And like I find myself much more exhausted, just in general, day to day, and I don't know where I get the energy to like really get up and do things. And I think that's just from pushing myself so hard since the beginning of everything, and knowing that what I have to prove is the fact that I can do these things, that I can manage and lead during a crisis. But really what I want to do is crawl back in bed and sleep for the rest of the day. Like, I don't actually want to be up doing things. I don't want to have to go out and do this, that, and the other. I don't want to have to interact with these people, because it's just, because we're so on edge, we end up taking it out on each other without realizing it. I mean, I myself have noticed that I have been like really, really short with people in a way that I normally would not be. And I think that's just from the stress of the everyday interactions that you're having with people, of, you know, the news that we're seeing and just kind of everything going on. And I'm just like, I'm stressed out, you know, I'm totally stressed out. So, you know, and it's one of the things I think I mentioned on Twitter. I'm just like, you know, honestly, this is the reason why I haven't been as active as much on stream as I would like to be. It's just because I'm so tired. You know, I have school, I have work, and there's everything in between that. By the time it comes to streaming at night, I'm just like, no, I'm tired. I don't have the energy. And I feel bad about that. I really do, because this is my opportunity to document what I'm doing, the work that I'm doing, the comic that I'm making, and it's just, I don't have the energy all the time. So the days when I do have the energy, you will see me right here in this chair. If I don't have the energy, I'm sorry about it, but I need a personal day. It's kind of where I've been. So, got our three colors here. We've got our indigo, our lemon yellow that I'm going to use as my highlight once I have this brown on. The brown is going to go on the trees and my people, and then that'll just kind of be that, and then we'll pop in that yellow as my highlight, and then we'll go ahead and add the details as need be. I'm trying to be as low maintenance on these pages as possible. I don't think low maintenance is the word I want. It's the word I'm going to use. As possible. Low tech, there we go. I think that's the word maybe I want to use. This is minimalist as possible for these pages, just so, not so I can get them done fast, but there's really not a whole lot that needs to be done with them. So I don't have to sit here and for hours of a day, like working on one page. They actually can just be not mass produced, but, you know, I can go a little faster. I can just kind of lay down the colors and the blocks that I need them to be, and then that'll be that. So that's my indigo. We're good there for those 5 pages. The next level is going to be this brown that I'm going to use. And what will happen with this is it'll actually go on, this will actually go on in a couple of layers. So we'll do a basic layer just to pop out all the major brown spots, like the tree trunks and what the people are wearing. And then we'll do some deeper browns and to make sure that all the background stuff is looking the way it's supposed to. Let's get these pages up. You're about as flat as you're gonna be. Yes, they are. Okay. Still a little moist, but you know what? It's going to get even wetter. So I can actually put this palette away for now. I'm going to put you down there. Actually, no. No. Hold on a minute. It's the brush that gets retired. This palette can actually stay here because I know I'm going to need that indigo. So we're going to use my brown. I'm using raw umber. Why I'm using raw umber, I don't know. I may have thought I meant to pick up burnt umber. I did not. But I realized the raw umber is actually okay. The raw umber is not bad. It's just a little extra work that I have to do for it, but honestly, it really does mix nicely with my yellow. And I can get a nice kind of yellow ochre look. That was weak. I don't know what you call that, Celestine. I just kind of picked up my brush and splashed some on the brown. I'm like, what? What is that? It's nonsense. I think that should be enough. Water. Should be mixed to a roughly the same consistency as my indigo, which, yeah, this looks good. I was reading an article a minute ago, right before I went live, about data science. Actually, let me see if I can find it. I didn't save it, but it was actually really, really insightful as an article really about learning. Let me see if I can pull that back up. Because there was something in there that's kind of sticking with me right now. Here it is. Yep, it is still here. You know, it was mostly about data science education. Here it is, and it's right in bold too, so this is exactly what I needed to hear. This article was written by Danielle Bocelli for Towards Data Science. So she's discussing her education and her background and everything about, you know, learning. And I think the line that really stuck with me is, however, it is very difficult to know if you don't fully understand a topic when you design your own curriculum, and further, when learning is entirely self-directed, there is a risk of focusing on material that is easy to understand rather than which is important to understand. That has, like, stuck with me all night. So as I'm, like, going through and studying and practicing my piano, I'm like, oh my god, she's so right. You know, at least I feel that she is. And it's just like, I think when it comes to the topic of learning in general, oh yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to have happen. You know, we say, oh, I can just teach that to myself, and it's like, you can, but are you really learning anything? And yeah, of course you're learning something, but you're learning the topics that are already easy for you to grasp. But you're not really learning, and you're not really getting the opportunity to share what you learn and to learn from other people, which is really where the bulk of learning really comes from. It's not the classroom in particular, it's the access to other people who will really help you and guide your learning so that you are getting new ideas and able to explain your ideas and be challenged. I can't really teach myself anything. I mean, like, I think there's a lot of things that we end up learning on our own. Like, as I've mentioned before, I'm learning piano. Who's my teacher? Me, myself, and I. So, but like, am I actually like really learning anything? Am I really retaining anything? So I'm constantly looking up all these different resources to help me with my general piano practice. And like in the meantime, just doing the few things that I can with the few books that I have. That's exactly where I took that. I'm like, oh man, like, am I really learning anything by teaching myself how to play the piano? And of course I'm learning stuff. I've got the books to prove it. But, and I'm trying to give myself a nice, rigorous practice regimen so that I can actually devote time and energy to, sitting down at the piano, setting myself up that time every day so I can do that. I'm following all the normal advice that, actual teachers will give you when it comes to, learning something, that you have to, kind of put yourself in that place to learn and to practice what you're learning. But remember, again, I'm teaching myself the things that are easy for me to understand. But is this what I actually need to know? I need to know scales, but you know what else I need to learn? How to practice scales differently. I need to learn ear training. Oh my goodness. Like trying to learn an instrument and just teaching myself how to do it, but not actually giving myself that opportunity to know what notes sound like. So, I have an app that I'm using. I have a couple of apps that all work together to help with musical training and education. But again, there's something that you can actually learn from an instructor that you're not really going to get by yourself. A teacher will keep you moving forward on your path. Remember, I had to start over my piano practice because I just stopped practicing. So we're back with learning C major, which it's kind of like a refresher, but think about how much farther I actually would have been if A, I had a teacher, and B, if I actually just stuck with the practice as I needed to. So that's kind of where that is. And so, actually reading that article and that line in particular, I'm like, oh man, it's coming for me. I felt those words hit, and I'm just like, oh, but she's so right. I had another friend who, who had pretty much said something very similar to me. Like, a teacher will keep you from falling backwards, will teach you from falling into the same traps with your learning. If you get caught up in a spiral of stuff, who's going to pull you out of that but your teacher? But if you don't have one of those, you're not going to advance your own learning in this subject as well as you think you are. Like, yes, you absolutely, like, I believe in learning, on your own and having that passion to do that on your own, but I also believe in the value of a good teacher. So, I learned to paint on my own, but it's, after years and years and years of doing this, I'm at a really good spot, but I'm not necessarily the most comfortable or confident with my skills, so I'm still learning. I'm still making mistakes that a teacher would have caught and said, hey, watch out for this. And that's the other important thing. A teacher, or even not a classroom setting, but having learning peers or learning mentors would teach you, like, look out for this, watch out for this. Here's what I learned when I had to do this. Watch out for this pit trap, this pitfall. Like, there are things that you would have picked up from an actual instructor that you're just not going to get by yourself because you don't already have that education and that learning to know those insights into what it is you're doing. So, I just wanted to share that article. I thought it was super fascinating. And like I said, I 100% believe in self-teaching and learning things as you find them interesting. I think that's really the great C to education, is having that desire to learn the subject. But I think if we're not putting ourselves in situations to learn more about those things, then we're missing out. I think originally what I had wanted to do with the trees in the background here was just kind of do like an overall, just like layer of brown back there, just to be more of that deep wall of trees in the background. But I think, I think this is actually really good. So yeah, we'll do that. Let me take out my pages. We're gonna continue laying them flat so that they just stay that way. This is good. I think these people, their outfits need to be some other color because I don't want them... Well, no, actually I think these guys need to be... I don't know what I'm doing. We'll do this. Just to have something going on down here. So I think what you're also going to notice with these pages is that there is no real white anywhere. The white itself is that indigo. We'll play around with that a little more too. Okay, that's good. Go there. We're going to move on to the next page. So what have you read, Shelby? What are you reading right now? Like, I know, aside from textbooks. Aside from textbooks. It's pretty much the only thing I've read, too. I don't know if there's any particular books that have caught my eye lately, other than the comics that I still have yet to read. Oh, that's right. I gotta get some green in here. Thankfully, I don't need a whole lot of brown. We need to move you. There we go. I currently have A Lion Among Us by Gregory Maguire, which is book 3 in the Wicked series. Ooh! Yeah, I have not read that. Like, there's so many great books that I just, like, or highly recommended books, I'll say, that I'm just like, the books that people are constantly referencing or, they get a lot of attention. I just haven't read any of them. I don't often do well with books that are recommended to me, but, lately I'm trying to be better. Definitely trying to be better. That's pretty much it, because I think what I wanted... I think I wanted them in different colors. I gotta figure that out. If I want them in brown or if I want them in a different color. I'll leave it right there. Because, and I'll show you if I can find my books. Yes, I can. In the original, they were all in black. So, let me go back to that. I don't know. Starshine by G.S. Jensen, which is cool because it's futuristic space setting and she's self... Ooh! Okay, I'm feeling it. With you on the self-publishing thing. You got my attention with the self-publishing thing. I dig that. Dude, self-publishing, man, is so difficult. Like, it's easy to find a place to print your stuff, but remember, publishing is not just printing, it's also the marketing and the sales of your work, and you're self-publishing means you're literally doing that all yourself, which can be good because you have ultimate control over the method and the medium. But, you know, the scope, the range, the how far along you actually can go, the depth of that, and you start missing out on things. But no, I'm here for it. It's really good so far. I mean, you know what? I would probably want to check it out just because of that. Hyperbole and a Half by Ali Brush for some lighter rating. Okay. I've heard of that one. Wasn't that a comic? Hyperbole and a Half? Wasn't that a webcomic? Correct me if I'm wrong. So I think that's probably why I know of it. It's been such a long time. I think. Yes. Okay, so I was right. It is a webcomic. Okay. I think, what was the last webcomic that I read? It was actually really recent. Oh man, that was like way far back too. Hold on a minute. Let me see if I can pull this up. The creator of this webcomic, Long Exposure, there we go. The creator of this webcomic is on Twitter, and I'm following him because of this webcomic. So it's adorable. I like it. A few problematic elements, but it's actually, I think the storytelling is really decent, so I like it a lot. I sent a link to it of it to my boyfriends. I'm like, you read this, please. It was so good. It was really touching. It's about these two characters. One is the bully to the other character, and then they're forced to work together to work on a school project, and then they realize that they actually like each other and they have feelings for each other, and their relationship develops, and it's so stupid adorable. And I'm like, oh my god, this is just the cutest thing. And then like there's parts where you know, the writer, you know, kind of takes you back into their history. It's like, no, they know each other from childhood. And it turns out that the reason why the bully is always picking on dude is because he likes him. And you're like, you know, you don't like that part of the story. But it's like, because obviously it sends the message that, oh, if someone's picking on you or whatever, it's actually because they like you. It's like, no, it's really just kind of an isolated thing. That's an exception thing. But it's like, the story is still just so well done. And like, honestly, if that's my only issue with it, I'll take it. But it's so good, and I think it's adorable. It's super queer, super gay, and it's amazing. And I wish I had come across this comic years ago when it was starting. I think he started like 4 years ago. So I'm just like, oh my god, I want this. The book Hyperbole is like a memoir style of her comics. Oh, see, yeah, I think I need to encounter this myself directly. I think I need to be there for that. What story is that my author decided to die in the beginning? Oh, okay, so the name of the comic is Long Exposure. It is a comic about two high school boys, and one is the bully to the other. And the bully is apparently only doing that because he actually likes the guy he's bullying, and they have to work together for a school project, and they realize like, oh, we actually have feelings for each other, and then they just get together, and that's their relationship, and it kind of continues on throughout the story. And I'm like, it's awkward, it's problematic, but I still adore it. So, Long Exposure. Let me see if I can get a link to it so you can read it for yourself, which I do highly recommend. This comic, that one, go read that thing. It's adorable. Like I said, problematic, but it's adorable. I say problematic just because of, you know, the bully is gay trope, and the I don't really think that was there, but it's more like, oh, you're getting picked on because so and so likes you. That thing is a little, you know, it's not necessarily the story you always want to tell, especially young kids, but obviously this comic's not meant for young kids, so we're just going to leave that there. But it's still a great story, I think. I like it enough to recommend it, so that's what I'm going to say. Yeah, it's like, it's one thing if, like, I think there's a part to, you know, the love my enemy tropes that are just kind of like, but, you know, I was with it. I was going along with it. I'm like, okay, where is this going? Because I think I remember encountering it, and as soon as I saw that there was a bully involved in this story, I'm like, nope, I'm checking out. I don't want any part of this. And it took me a month to come back to and say, okay, maybe I'm in a better place to actually experience this right now. And then I did, and I read it all in one night. That's like 4 years of this comic. So, which was actually very easy because of the creator's storytelling. Like, just the way he actually did the storytelling, how he uploaded everything in batches. And obviously coming at it from, like, years after, you know, it's had its... I wouldn't say it's had its moment. Like, gay stories don't really have a moment. I mean, they do, but, like, they're perpetually necessary, I'll put it that way. But, you know, I think, for my part, and for the writer's part, I'm like, you know, I'm here for it. Definitely here for it. Get some browns down here. But yeah, it was the bully part. Like, in any story about gay characters, I'm not feeling any story that involves bullies at all. Like, no. That's not something I want to visit upon my sensibilities. But like I said, after about a month, I said, okay, I guess I'm in a place where I can actually sit here and read this thing. So let me just figure out what this is about. And then I read it, and I'm like, oh my god, it was just adorable. And like, the ending was... just like, there's like, when you actually see the two characters together, you're like, oh, I love that you love each other so much. There's some other really dark parts about the story. Like, it really did get kind of dark in places. I need to do a thing. I threatened to do this last time, and I'm going to. What I'm going to do is, this page actually started to curl up, and what needs to happen right now is it needs to uncurl itself. So we're going to take some water, just plain old water, and wet the back. And what this does is it pretty much, like, kind of reactivates the paper, and just, again, it makes it wet so it can actually just be a little more pliable. It's also basically glued down onto the... You know what? We'll just go with it. Oh, the creator for that comic is also on Twitch, but I don't think he like is on all the time. I actually have to find him so I can follow him. So as soon as I do, I will let you know too. But he did his 4-year anniversary for long exposure on Twitch. Oh, maybe a couple weeks ago, or was it sometime in the beginning, sometime mid-September? I can't remember. But actually, no, I think it was. Oh, that may have been early this week. I can't remember. But he did his 4-year anniversary for the comic on Twitch. He streamed, and I completely forgot. I even made a note to like check it out, just to go into his channel just to say hi, and I like completely forgot to do that. It was my fault that I missed that. 100% my fault that I missed that. Oh no, I'm out of brown. Never thought to ever do that to uncurl paper. Yep. It's, I forget where I actually learned to do that. That may have been a school thing. Like, it never, I think at the time when I did learn that, it never actually occurred to me to do that either. And you don't realize, like, how obvious some things are to do as, like, this is happening right here, just wet it again, but do it this way. And you're like, oh, well, that's funny, because you think about it, and you're like, yeah, that's exactly how it curled up in the first place, so I guess that makes a little sense. And what it does is allow you to, again, like I said, make the paper a little more pliable. So that you can curl it back in the opposite direction, or at least find a way to get it to lay flat, and then you can press it, and then that'll be it. I'm trying to get this brown on here, the last dregs of it in my palette here. Knowing that I'm already going to redo this brown here. I have used up all of my brown. Exactly what went through my head, like, duh, that's why I curled to begin with. Exactly! Exactly. Alright, so we're going to take that, put that, do it that way instead, actually. I don't want to cause any more paper problems, or paint problems for that matter. Okay. Alright, so that is the brown on there. I'm going to prepare a little more of that brown, I think. So I'm trying to think of what the next step really should be, because I'm going to get as much of this on tonight as possible. So I'm trying to think of what the next step should be, and I think I do need another layer of brown on everything. But I also know I think I need another layer of indigo on everything too. So how should I go about it? Well, I can do another layer of indigo after all the browns are on. Let me find... These are the things that I have to do when I'm painting. Here's my ivory black. Let's take the green. I just grabbed my green and my black because I think I am going to need them as well. It's causing my board to curl up too because it's still wet, but that's okay. It exists to protect the desk. So yeah, I need to figure out, am I going to, I mean, I can probably just move right onto the yellow. Just get my yellows in. I know I picked up the black because I think I'm going to put them in, like, black cloaks. With, like, brown garb underneath. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do. Don't know what I'm going to do. And I pulled out the green because obviously we're seeing some parts of the trees with their greenery on, so we'll keep that there. I gotta think my way through what's happening. Okay, I'm sorry. I got distracted with more long exposure because there's a new page up. So... Sorry, I'm like 100% distracted after reading that. So, just finishing that up. So, I feel it was a really great way to end the series. I don't know if it's ended per se, but I think it's adorable. And I'm looking forward to his new one. Alright, let's see where we are with these pages. It wasn't really a long bake time, so to speak. I think it's long enough for what I'm trying to do tonight. Because I'm actually trying to, gain some ground with how these pages are going. So, I think literally after, getting them wet, they really have to just be laying flat again. Just so that they can actually, lay flat. So we'll do that. Put this back under some kind of weight. Okay. Is my camera crooked? Maybe just a little bit, but I think I'll live. Alright, so let's troubleshoot right now. In the background, what I want to do is the trees, I want to really show some depth back there. what I want to do is actually, like, anything that's a tree, I want it to get another layer of indigo on it. Trying to do work paperwork, but apparently my printer doesn't have any more ink and my new cartridges have run away. Oh no. I'm sorry for you. Yeah, I think I want to do another layer of indigo just on the trees. I don't know if I want to do that in the back. Yeah, I kind of do want to do that in the background. Let's take a look at let's see what that'll look like if I get another layer going here. Actually, I'm pretty sure it'll look perfect. Adding a little more depth there to the background. Get that in there. Okay. Got a whole tree over here. I know I said I was going to, wash in some blue back there. I think I need to. Definitely think I need to. Only to deepen that background and make it look more, like a background, so that this light tone of that blue will actually be what's there. Will be the white of the paper. Like, even if I have to lighten that up. Let's see what I need. How are you so stiff? If I do that. Just adding another layer of gouache. Oh yeah, that looks good. That looks real good. Onto background. So we're making that a little deeper. Our indigo. What I don't want to do is forget to draw in the shadows of every person here as well as the trees, because I have that tendency to forget that detail. So we'll do this. We'll say that maybe the light is coming from, above and behind. So we'll do that. And I can be wild and free with getting all these in here, so. I'm cool with it. Like, I keep it as low maintenance, as that word again, as possible. But honestly, I'm cool with it because I think that's exactly what needs to be here. This page is not done, but is very close to it. I still have to, put in what everybody else is wearing. So let me get my other palette out. I think, as I said, everybody's wearing black. So, maybe I don't need this. I can just use the other side of this thing. Now the thing is, okay, this is much more of a tea consistency. It's getting to milk. I'll start back here. Sop up some of that black. I don't know if I like the black. I don't think it's really doing anything for me. I say that as I continue layering it on. Like, it's not meant to be, you know, oh, they're in shadow. That's what the indigo is there for. The black is literally like the color of what they're wearing, and honestly, it's not really standing out enough. It's not really doing enough. But I think that's just because it's so close in value to what's happening with the tree. And just in general, I don't think I want them in black. Knowing that the trees are gonna get another layer of brown. Or maybe another layer of indigo, because it's starting to dry up a little lighter than I wanted to. Let's go for the brown, actually, and see what we get. See what the people look like in brown. I think with that black layer down on top of them as well, it definitely does something different to what they're wearing. But again, that's, you know, it's just some extra color quality that the indigo would also do. Really like the coloring stage. It's fun. It's definitely fun. What's not fun is trying to figure out what color things are supposed to be. Let me fix my camera here. Okay. This is where the struggle is right now. What's that going to look like? I don't know, maybe they do need to just be in black. I just think it'll just make more sense. Because they can't all be, like, it can't just be all brown on this page. Like, I need some other color variations here, so I think I will go back to the black. Let's clean the brush off. And take it some, just this pure black in here. Okay, that's good. I think this is working. I think that looks really decent. I have to remind myself to keep it simple for these pages, which was the goal the entire time. I'll be lurking, have to go actively pair now. Have fun! I'll be here. That. That's an interesting little spot down there where my ink disappeared a little bit. Okay, so we got some darker indigo going on. Okay, that's better. That's so much better. Constant licking gives it away that I'm a little weird right now. Alright, so what we need to do, we want that. Whoop. Here. Okay, that'll be alright. Let's go ahead and get that in. It's fine. We'll live with that. Okay, I think this is looking good. Got our shadows in. Can actually do a little more. I'm trying not to grab the entire glob of my indigo in my palette to do what I need to do here, which is this. So we're gonna be a little wild. Okay. Obviously we want to deepen up the sky, so we're going to add a little more water to our indigo here. We're going to come in with some of that deep indigo-y goodness. Actually, do we want to deepen up the sky, or do we just want to get some more shadows down? Because I think this is the right tone for the sky, and I think it works on the ground too, and if we differentiate enough... so let me do this first. Do is that. Which is literally what I meant to do on the previous page that I just did. think I will actually deepen that sky a little bit. We'll add some variations here in colors. Do something like that. How the shadow position has just changed. Totally screwed that up, but you know, we'll just blend that in with everything else. We'll just do that instead. See? I hope you can see. I think my head has been getting in the way. Don't forget our little guy down there. He needs a shadow too. Oops. Do that. And that. Just do that. So they're wearing black. So let's go ahead and put them in black. I'm actually getting somewhere right now, so it's exciting. Took me a little bit to figure out what was happening with that first page, but I think we are in good shape right now. You in there, and we'll get you in there. Okay. I don't think that's it for this page, but that might be it for right now. Oh, no, hold on a minute. So we'll do a little more with the sky. So we need it like really dark right up here, and then just kind of I want the sky to have a paler cast to it, even if it is at night. If we do that, I think that looks good. I think that looks real good. Oh, that's a whole part of the sky I just missed right there. Let's get in there. Get that. This whole section right up in there. Okay. We want to round that. Da, 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 da. Okay. We're looking good. We're looking really good. It's a good page right here. And like I said, I'm actually really satisfied with like simple with keeping my color palette really simple. Not a whole lot going on. I think it really does add to the mood, the atmosphere of the story that I'm telling. Should have used a round brush for this, but oh well, it's done. Still gonna get some. Right in the ground, there and there. Okay. I mean, this page is largely finished, so actually done really well. This is why we keep it simple. Here we want this sky. Can do that. It doesn't have to be right on the roofs, because we have a little town. So what we want for the town is just kind of this glow of yellow, and that's where this is going to actually come in really useful. It's a night scene. I've gotten very good at drowning colors in darkness from painting night scenes. So it's all part of the theme. It's all part of the mood of what I'm trying to do. So. And I'll go back to that other page to add that yellow in there too. So a little guy down here, he's going to need his own shadow as well. But here we are in the spot where, you know, everybody's basically before this town. And we're getting... The town itself is getting an aura of yellow light, then their shadows are going to need to come back towards us. Because if that light is that powerful like that, we definitely want some more shadow coming back towards us. And so this is where we can actually go ahead and do that. I love my coloring streams. So I get so much work done. Okay, so now we've done that. We want to take my brush here. We're actually going to go in and, oops, that's too much of that. Add just a few shadow specks around. Do things like that. All of that. Now I have to remind myself that it's not going to be 100%. It's fine. It's not going to be 100% to match in terms of like light quality and what's happening with the colors, but let me not forget to put our shadows on the trees here. They still need some. It's like a lot of that can be done with color manipulation digitally, so when I scan this, I can actually play around with some of these things a little bit more. So all I really have to do is just get the color onto the paper. I thought I was going to use that green, but honestly, I think the way that I've done my trees doesn't really call for it. I'm like all off the screen. I'm so off the camera. Doesn't really call for it, so I don't really need that, I think. Like if I do, then I'll have it. I think that looks good. Yeah, we'll call that here for that one. 2 more pages. Like I said, tonight we're really, I'm off the screen again and I forgot to put the black in. Tonight we are really just getting the basic colors down. I forgot my black. I think I actually do need a little more in here. Yeah, okay. Great thing about gouache, it can always be reactivated. You know, just like watercolor. So what I need is, yep, yes, that's perfect. This is what really good layering gets you. Where even your darkest colors, you'll still be able to get a highlight onto them. Looks so good. There we go. Okay, yep. I guess we're sticking with black for these guys. Alright, perfect. They're in. We're going to get them in here so they can also lay flat. I need another weight on top of them. Some paper. There we go. Ooh, yeah, that's the stuff. Let's get another one on there. Really flat. Okay. So here, in the previous page, the light was more yellow, like a glow of like just candlelight or torchlight or street light, really. It's gonna be a very different glow on this page. What I want to be communicated here is there's going to be more of a red tone, like something just happened. So we'll definitely get that on here when I'm ready to put that light in. So I'll probably still use that yellow just to kind of build up those areas that are going to get that new glow, that different colored glow. Because there'll still be some yellow there, but I'll add a layer of red on top of that just to tone it out and to, kind of get that, get that idea that something just happened. The look of fire is what I'm going for. I don't want to use you. What I want is this brush. Get up in here. Oh yeah, we can put you too. And that's there. Do that. Do that, and a little bit of that. Just want to add some color texture onto the boughs of our trees. We'll just, we can just leave that as is. Get up in there. I love seeing the pages come to life even more. Look, you and me both, like, they're really coming along really nicely. So we've got some new color textures going on in there. We'll do that. We'll do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Follow those lines. It's definitely something I love about painting. It's just how everything comes together. So next, of course, we need to put black on them. I don't want to forget that again. Start over here. If I do my layering right, you'll see that that right there, that whole tone, which I don't know if it's really coming through on camera, but there's a whole tone of color right there in that shadow where that should be. If you were looking at the pages in person, you would definitely be able to see it. Where it's layered, where the black is layered onto the blue. And that just kind of some shadow mapping, really. Especially when it's really dense. So you can note some tonal variations in the colors. You can kind of see it here. I live for that. This is why I love using such transparent media, like watercolors, and I'm really, really liking the gouache. What I definitely want to do, though, is really punch up what gouache can do. So maybe when I'm done this project, I'll probably just do a gouache painting. Just some very simple stuff. Because I really want to see what else this medium can do. Or rather, what I can do with it. Oops. What's missing is a shadow on his face. That's too much. That's much too much. Oop, forgot one. Okay, yeah, you can see that on there. Like that tonal difference with the blue, the indigo layered in there. Paper's starting to buckle a little bit, so it means it's done, it's ready to rest. But I'm going to get just a little more in here with this black before I put it to rest. And finally. We'll start with our background. So much of that. I want that there, like that. That in there. Okay. Now what'll end up happening is because these people actually do have torches, we'll still be able to get like some yellow light from those torches onto these trees. I need you. So dip in here. Dip in there too. There. Okay. Just about done for the night. Just a couple of things that need to be taken care of here on the ground. And that's where people are standing. We have shadows floating around every which way. What color are the people wearing, I wonder? Maybe they should also be wearing some kind of brown. I'm gonna have to think about that one. Torch right there. Okay. I might have to do a little more research, I think. A little more thinking, especially on what color they should be wearing. I'm leaning towards brown. I mean, that's what they were wearing on the last one, so it'd just be continuing the theme like I did with Arturnathi, but I feel like I want something different, or something that would stand out a little more. And I say this knowing that I wanted to keep the colors simple. So I guess they'll just be in brown. To watch out for the trim, because that'll stay white. And I'll go back in on them later when it's time to do like the real shadows and highlights. Everybody, I think it is. Yep. Okay. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I think it still looks good, so definitely think it still looks good. Alright. Let's get this to be flat. We're just going to let all the pages rest, flatten themselves out. So here's how this is going to proceed. This book is 15 images. We're going to do 5 pages a night until it's all done this week. So I'll be doing this in between homework sessions and anything else. I'm going to try and get some time later this week to stream again, and we're just going to go through, the rest of these pages. So I don't know when, but like I said, I'll definitely go through this week, the whole rest of this week, to get things done. So I've done this before. I can surely do it again, especially since I know what I'm doing. So we'll get through all the base colors this week, and I don't know if I have time, if I have the opportunity rather, I'll get through some of these highlights that I want to. And I'm not just talking about the yellows, but like, you know, how that light is actually going to reflect off of everything else going on. I am ambitious. You are absolutely right. So we're going to try this week. This week is the week to get all the colors in. I am technically a week behind. So that's why I got to kind of chug through it this week to get everything the way I want it to be by the end of this week. So all colors by the end of the week. I'll have some highlights and details on here too, and that'll be how that ends the week. So that next week I can scan and do lettering and all the text stuff. So that's why we're trying to finish this week. Excited seeing this come together from start to finish. I'm excited to do this, actually. It's like, it's super cool right now to actually, you know, I think I've mentioned this before, how I wanted to document this whole process of getting this book done, and I'm really getting there. So, you know, by spending this whole entire week just getting the rest of these colors down, the colors, the details, and it's going to be super simple. Like, I just have to remind myself of that, to not try to overdo it, because that's how I end up getting behind schedule, is like I start to think too much about, oh my god, like I have to do this and I have to do that. No, I really don't. All that really has to happen is like get the colors down, because I know how simple this is going to be. I can leave complicated color processing for another project. But for this project, we have our blues, our blacks, our browns, and some touches of yellow, a little bit of light reflecting off of this, that, and the other, and then we're done. So that's this week. Even if it has to be like 2 pages a day because I'm in the middle of homework and other stuff, which is another reason I'm trying to get homework done early, I'll be good. I'll be good to go. So I'm going to continue trying to get homework done early. So obviously no stream tomorrow. Wednesdays is now belong to class days. I have 2 class sessions tomorrow. So yeah, no, none of that. And then, you know, we'll just get through the colors the rest of this week, and we'll do all the fun stuff. So like I said, next week we're scanning. We are scanning next week. If I can get scans done Monday, I'll be good. I'll be in a really good place. So thank you everyone for joining me tonight. Thank you, Shelby, for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you coming by. You guys, like I said, I'll try to get online again this week. It might be Thursday. It should definitely be Friday, provided no other crisis happens. But in the meantime, I'll be working on pages, so, you know, will be a jump from the next time you do see me. It'll be other things have moved on, and then we'll just go from there. All right, thanks everybody for joining me. I am probably, hope your school stuff goes well tomorrow. So do I. Probably not going to rate tonight, so we're just going to call it here. So thank you everyone for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Good night, everyone. Bye.